Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast that wonders why the WWE is using sound effects from the He-Man cartoons for Bray Wyatt. This is Lost in the Midcard. I am your host, Jeremy Bennett. You can find me on the Twitter at JBHuskers, and we are on Facebook, facebook.com/LostInTheMidcard. You can find our YouTube portion of the podcast there, or also, if you go to the notes section, we have our links to subscribe on YouTube or iTunes, and thanks to SpiderDuck.net, we are on iTunes or any of your favorite podcasting apps. And, of course, we throw a little extra in there on the Facebook page, too, some memes, a bunch of other random shit, and all that fun stuff. And, as always, my co-host on the Twitter at RawFShowtime, fresh off of his return from the IR, it is Mr. Matt Black. Matt, how are you doing today?
When was I on the injured reserve, dog?
That's why we didn't record last week.
I wasn't injured. I was sick.
I know.
Freaking stomach virus from hell.
It's more fun to say you were on the IR.
I just felt like no one would have been interested in listening to us last week, while every 5 minutes I had to run and go puke. So I just didn't think it was a good idea. So
live from the toilet, it's Lost in the Midcard.
Yeah, I didn't like the idea. I didn't think it was good.
He was puking up a Vince McMahon and dropping a Kevin Dunn at the same time.
Wait a minute.
Pow. Let's first, Matt. Let's kick off the show. First off, did you watch He-Man in the 1980s?
I did. I tried to stifle my chuckle. So
does that not? You can always pop the truck. I don't care if you pop the truck on my open. But yeah, does that not sound like the lightning that hits Castle Grayskull?
Dude, all the gimmicks they've got right now are just. I hate all the Bray Wyatt shit. Like, I really do. I'm done with it. You know.
Yeah, that supernatural stuff is a little hokey.
Look, it's fine for the Undertaker, who's been doing the gimmick for 25 years. But given the gimmick to, let's face it, you love him or hate him, you're giving it to a glorified jobber. He's a jobber to the stars. He's this generation's Coco Beware, and I can't buy it. I don't buy it. He's not a supernatural character. He's a cult leader. There's a big freaking difference, and apparently Vince McMahon doesn't seem to realize that.
Well, hopefully, maybe in 2016 he'll get booked better.
Yeah, we can only hope.
Yeah, he's definitely got everything to where he can be a main event player, but yeah, he's got to kind of win a few matches. Let's kick off the show with first off with our thoughts with those in Paris that lost their lives or were injured with the horrific attacks that just occurred last week. That we're definitely thinking about you, and hopefully those that were injured can get well soon. Also, let's pay a little tribute. 10 years ago, on November 13th, we lost Eddie Guerrero, unfortunately, at the age of 38. And so celebrating the life of Eddie Guerrero, many great moments in professional wrestling, including a two-time ECW champion. He was inducted into the Hardcore Hall of Fame, class of 2015. He was also Pro Wrestling Illustrated's Comeback Wrestler of the Year in 1999, Most Inspirational Wrestler in 2000-2004, and ranked as high as number 2 in the PWI Top 500 in 2004. Then when he was in WCW, he was the Cruiserweight Champion twice and the United States Champion once. And then within the WWE, very decorated, one-time WWE Champion, four-time tag champion, twice with Chavo Guerrero, once with Tajiri, and once with Rey Mysterio. One-time United States Championship with the WWE, 2 times the European Champion, 2 times Intercontinental Champion, and a member of the 2006 Hall of Fame. Matt, with as we remember Eddie passing away 10 years ago, what is your favorite Eddie Guerrero memory?
Oh man, there's too many.
Or just name a couple that just stand out to you.
I loved seeing him beat Brock, um, for the World Heavyweight Championship because I sure as hell didn't think it was gonna happen. I thought that was one of the most shocking title changes I think I've ever seen. I remember him and I was I think it was SummerSlam 2005. It was in DC, and I was there. It was Eddie and Rey Mysterio in a ladder match,
Mm,
and they were fighting over like Dominic or whatever at that time.
yeah.
And I remember it so vividly because my friend that was there with me, where we were sitting out by the stage, and they had Dominic standing out there, and my friend's yelling at Dominic to turn a heel on Ray, and I was just dying. I was just
And
dying
Dominic's like
laughing.
what, 8 or 10 at the
Oh
time?
yeah, dude, he was a young kid. I couldn't even tell you how old he was, but yeah, just hearing my friend tell him to turn heel on his dad, I was losing it. I was laughing so hard. And just anything Eddie did, even when he was being a heel, he was funny as hell, man. He did things that should have, as a heel, it should have made you mad. As a fan, you're supposed to be cheering on the good guys or whatever. But when Eddie did the whole lie, cheat, and steal thing as a heel, and he did something funny, you couldn't help but laugh.
Hmm.
Because his smile and his innocent looks, and hitting the ring mat with the chair, and then tossing it to the guy and laying out, and the guy him yelling at the ref, and Eddie's laying there on the ground smirking. It was just so many good memories of
Well,
Eddie, and we lost him way too soon.
we did. And there's a great tribute to Eddie Guerrero on Ring of Honor television. We're going to cover 3 weeks of Ring of Honor television this week. We're going to fly by it just to give you the high points and let you know. But a great tribute to Eddie that we'll also talk about once we get there. One moment that just stands out in my mind, a great moment at WrestleMania 20 when Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit are in the ring. Two wrestlers that I respected. And amazingly enough, two guys that made their names in WCW came over and were able to celebrate each other as champions at the end of the night. And I thought that was a truly just a glorious moment, in time. As we just talk about Benoit the wrestler, not Benoit the person. I just thought that was a
Yeah,
great moment, and it still stands today.
I
Uh,
agree. I
unlike
agree.
unlike the WWE, I'm not going to erase Chris Benoit from history. We're not going to condone what he did, but we're not going to erase him from history. He's still one of my favorite performers of the new millennium. The thing you were talking about with Eddie, yeah, it was. I think it was because Eddie is just such a great guy at heart. Being the bad guy, he purposely did those things to get the crowd to gain his favor. So there was no there was no other way to make him than to turn him face when he was one of the best heels in the company. And but I think he was like, I know what I can do. I know these people are gonna love me whatever I do, so I'm gonna kind of add a little of my flavor and spice to this, and I'm gonna get the crowd to turn and love me, and that's what they did. Now let's talk some news out of the blue. This is out of the blue to me, Matt, but just announced the other day, Ring of Honor is leaving Destination America, which is an upgrade no matter where they go, and they announced their new television home. It is a sci-fi like channel, actually a brand new channel called Comet, which even I don't get, Matt. So thank God I have Sinclair Broadcasting on my Saturday nights for Ring of Honor. Because I don't know, I would assume Comet is a startup channel.
Yeah,
It
it's some
sounds like
kind
it's
of
got a.
like some kind of digital channel.
Is it digital only?
Yeah, I honestly I don't understand it. It seems like a network like CW or those news networks like that apparently late at night can be turned into another channel,
Mm.
and that's seemingly what it is.
Yeah, it seems like it's kind of a cool
And like,
niche
okay, here's
sci-fi
here's
type.
an idea. Let's take Cartoon Network for example.
Uh-huh.
Where like at some point in the evening they turn into Adult Swim.
Yeah, yeah.
That's I think that's kind of what like Comet is. At like a certain point at night on certain CW type affiliate channels, it turns into Comet.
Ah, and see
And
my
and I think that's where it's happening because I think Comet's actually owned by, you guessed it, Sinclair Broadcasting.
yes, they are.
So I mean that's where this is all coming from.
Yeah, it's funny because CW is where the CW channel here is where I get the Sinclair broadcaster Ring of Honor. So coincidentally enough, what do you, Matt? What do you think about leaving Destination America, which they had a couple 100,000 viewers, for a whole new startup channel that not many people know about? Uh, just what are your thoughts overall?
It's obviously it's a downgrade. I mean, you can't paint it any other way other than that. I mean, they legitimately just moved to a home of what the owner of the company owns. I mean, I guess it's really good to be owned by a television corporation because ROH is never not going to be on TV.
Mm-hmm.
As long as Sinclair has something to say about it. So I mean, that's good for ROH. But I mean, leaving Destination America and going to that is kind of a step down. But at the same
Their time
token,
slot still isn't great.
no, but I mean, at the same token, it's better. It's better to be on TV than not at all. I mean, honestly, I don't even watch it on Destination America because you know
Not
why?
me.
Destination America sucks. It's one of the worst channels on the planet, and I can't wait to never have to turn my dial to 668 again to see any of that hillbilly garbage that channel puts out on a weekly basis. So, good riddance. We're glad you're getting rid of Wrestling Destination America because no one wants to watch a shitty ass channel anyway.
Yeah, Comet is a new digital broadcast channel co-owned, like Matt said, by ROH's parent company, Sinclair Broadcasting. They start on December 2nd, and it'll be every Wednesday night on Comet at 11 p.m. Central, midnight Eastern. And basically, as I said, Comet is an older science fiction type of channel, and it officially launched on Halloween night. It is in currently in 78 markets across 33 states, covering 60% of the United States. So it does have some reach, and Ring of Honor fans, I'm sure, that do not get Sinclair will be hopefully be able to find it and tune in. There's some top markets that it's already in, such as New York, LA, Chicago, Philly, Seattle, Denver, St. Louis, San Fran, Oakland, DC, Boston, Pittsburgh, and Houston. A lot of those are ROH cities, and so I think I think at least it's a footing, and probably gives Ring of Honor some flexibility. And so hopefully, I don't know. I don't know why they made the move, but can you speculate, Matt, as to why they made the move?
What do you mean?
Well, Ring of Honor, they were signed into 2016.
No, they weren't.
Oh, they weren't. I thought they
Oh
were.
no, they had it was a 26-week deal, I
Okay.
believe. They were always scheduled to their initial run with Destination America was set to expire in December.
Now we know our thoughts about Destination America, but I mean it was a broadcast channel, and I don't know if Comet's going to get 200,000 viewers. So why make the jump? Do you have any ideas?
Because Destination America doesn't want wrestling on their channel anymore.
Oh, so the channel itself is saying
Yeah,
no
they're not
mods.
renewing Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor's moving, so Ring of Honor's
Ah,
getting out in front of it and moving somewhere else. And when TNA's contract's up, TNA's gone too.
yes. And speaking of TNA, we got our favorite Dixie Carter teasing a return to
Yeah,
Spike.
that's not happening.
Dixie says on her Twitter when a fan respond to a fan about whether there be a chance of reconciliation with TNA's former channel. Carter responded, "I hear you. Stay tuned. I've heard of two cable networks talking with TNA, and neither was Spike." And that was what Mike Johnson said. Um,
And I trust
have you
Mike Johnson for all of my wrestling news.
exactly? That's where I got this from. Was PW Insider from Mike Johnson. I'm curious to see what two channels there are that want Spike or that want TNA. I mean,
And neither
um,
of them are good.
yeah, I'm
I already know
assuming.
what they are. Neither of them are good.
What are they?
Pop TV,
Oh, I know that.
which is apparently formerly the TV Guide channel,
Yes.
and WGN America, the other channel that TNA was negotiating with before they went to Destination America.
Well, WGN America is in a lot of homes. Pop, I only know that because that's that airs the live late night Big Brother show.
Oh,
So that's the
I
only
hear
place.
apparently everybody gets that. Apparently, even people with basic cable get Pop.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I mean
Because
that's
it
a
was.
pretty big home overall. But I sure as hell wouldn't want to be in it. I wouldn't want to be on it.
Mm-mm. Yeah, Pop used to just be something in the corner while your guide scrolled, and the old school digital TV guide where you had to
Yep.
wait for your channel to pop up.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that all too
Oh yeah.
well.
Unfortunately, the on the 14th of November, wrestling lost a true great in Nick Bockwinkel, a four-time AWA World Heavyweight Champion. Nick Bockwinkel was definitely an old school guy that had a great 32-year career with the AWA and also was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2007. He's held many, many titles within Mid South and a lot of the NWA territories throughout the years. And he was also awarded Tag Team of the Year with Ray Stevens in 1973 from PWI. And so, unfortunately, the wrestling world loses a legend in Nick Bockwinkel. He died at the age of 80. Interesting little fact, Matt. He was trained by Mr. Luthez.
There you go.
Uh, you have any experiences or anything in the old days watching Nick
I
Bockwinkel,
I
or do you?
don't. I had never, besides highlight packages, I've never seen a complete match of his.
Mm,
He was before my time.
yep, he's definitely before my time too. But but he did live a pretty good life, I would have to say.
Absolutely.
Seth Rollins goes to Twitter with a message for everybody after his learning that he was going to be out 6 to 9 months with a torn ACL, MCL, and a also a something else, a meniscus. There we go. Had that word on the tip of my tongue. I just could not say it. But on Twitter last week, Rollins went and said, "It's only after we've lost everything that we are free to do anything, redesign, rebuild, and reclaim." The surgery was a success, and he had the surgery down in Alabama. So we definitely wish Seth Rollins uh, a, a speedy recovery, and hopefully he's on our television sets in time for SummerSlam next year, right, Matt?
I would surely hope so.
Yeah, that's going to be a bummer not being able to see him at WrestleMania this year.
Indeed.
NXT. The WWE has announced that NXT Takeover London, the special, is airing live on the WWE Network on the 16th of December. I believe that's a Saturday. Is that right, Matt?
No, it is a Wednesday.
Oh, Jesus.
Wednesday, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time, December
Mm-hmm.
16th.
Yeah, and the
So I'm
pre-show will start.
assuming pre-show starts at 2:30. If
Mhm.
I had to guess, I would say the show will air live that afternoon. And for everybody who's not around at that point to watch it, they will re-air a replay of sorts from 7:30 to whenever the time, however long this event's going to be,
Mhm.
at its normal airing time that Wednesday night.
Yeah, I'll be. I was thinking
I'm
that.
watching that mofo live, bruh.
Oh, me too. I'll be at work. It'll be on my phone, and if it's a 2 hour special, it'll go over right when I get off work. If it goes over 2 hours, it's gonna be like, do I stay at work and watch the rest of this or what? That's gonna be a dilemma. Let's go to some raw ratings. 2 weeks ago, not almost 2 weeks ago, the November 9th edition of Raw got once again hit rock bottom. 3.17 million viewers. The third hour, a disastrous 2.86 million, but of course it was a taped show. So, Matt, I'd assume that probably played a lot into it, right?
I would certainly believe so. The tape shows are 100% always have lower viewership than the live shows in the history. So that doesn't surprise me at all.
So they just is there just a lot of people that just want to read what happens and not see it?
I don't know, man. I was if you read it and you don't like what you read, you're not going to tune in.
That's true.
So
And we'll cover that edition of Raw here in just a little bit, as we got a couple of Raws to go over and a SmackDown in between. Lots of stuff also happening, all due to the Seth Rollins injury. But on the bright side for Raw, they did rebound and get to 3.29 million for this past Monday on November 16th, and all three segments stayed above the 3 million mark. So apparently, what they did to change up the card at Survivor Series worked for a little bit. Got a few people tuning in. So that was the best mark they've had since October 5th. So over a month and almost a month and a half that Raw's been on the decline. So finally, they pumped the brakes and kind of gained some more viewership back. So Matt, do you attribute it to the injury and the fact that it forced WWE's hand to shake shit up big time?
um it certainly doesn't hurt. I think the factors of so many people being out right now, and they're consistently over the past 3 weeks. I would say not all of it, but a majority of the show, a good 85 to 90% of the last 3 weeks shows have all been really good. So you build up that you're gonna have to build up that goodwill and that good faith within your fan base again.
Mm-hmm.
The million fans that left from July of this year till now, you have to build them back up. They're not just gonna all come back at once. So it's really good um that they need to stay the course that they're on right now.
Yeah,
Good wrestling, pushing the new stars, focusing on elevating new talent, and that's the way you're going to get these people back. But it's not going to happen overnight.
no,
So they definitely got a margin of their audience back on Monday, and they're just going to need to keep working on it. Do not detour off the course. Continue to go forward. Don't let bouncing ratings, um, you know, keep you from where you're going. You're just going to have to ignore them right now, and you're just going to have to continue to push on because that's the only way it's going to work. You have to create the new stars now. You know, Cena's reality show was announced today. So,
mm-hmm.
I mean, that's official that, that's what he's doing. So, how about this? What happens if this show blows up? What if this reality show does massive numbers for Fox and Cena becomes a bona fide reality TV show star? He's already done movies. If he has a huge reality TV show, you don't think more um people like ABC, NBC, and whatever, or Fox, who's already with, aren't going to come at him with more offers and more money to do more things?
And to not take bumps.
Yeah, exactly. I would not be surprised if this show does well. This could be the beginning of the end of John Cena as a full-time WWE superstar.
Do you think John Cena wants to stay at 15, or does he want to tie Flair?
I don't. If a gun's in my head and I got to be right, I would say John Cena respects Ric Flair too much to take his record.
Yeah, I
Um,
hope that's the case.
but I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I really and truly believe that if this show does well, like if this is a rating success for Fox, this show could be the beginning of the end of John Cena's full-time WWE career. So the time to create the new stars, damn it, the time is now. No pun intended.
Exactly. You did that on
I
purpose.
swear to God, as soon as I said it, I'm like, wow, that came out funny. I wanted to establish the fact that that was not on purpose.
You always accuse
But
me of doing it on purpose.
all right, I didn't. But I look. If I would love to take credit for that, but that wasn't. I didn't do that on purpose.
Okay.
See, I wish I could take credit for that, but then I'd be a liar. So I can't. I can't do that. I can't lie to the people.
And what Matt was talking about is a kind of, to me, Matt, it seems like a team-based Broken Skull Challenge, but with more military type of. Well, of course, what the Broken Skull Challenge is a lot of military
Yeah.
stuff on. So
I'm sure
it
Steve.
seems
I'm
like,
sure Austin's thrilled about his show kind of being warped and an idea changed into a show on a main channel like Fox instead of
oh yeah,
CMT. I'm sure Austin's just thrilled
oh yeah,
that this is
and
happening with John Cena.
it ain't the first time Fox has tried to copy a show. So
I'm sure Austin's sitting at home butthurt right now,
what?
bitching and moaning and crying and
He's got his own beer now, so he's all right.
yeah, I'm sure that'll do well.
Couple of injury updates from NXT. According to PW Insider, Sami Zayn has been doing some light workouts in the ring at the Performance Center. So he hasn't been there in quite some time. So that is kind of newsworthy. He has publicly said that he'll be out until early 2016, but there is a slight chance he might return before then. I still hope, like Matt said a couple of weeks back, that he enters the Rumble to screw Kevin Owens and we get ourselves a Zayn Owens WrestleMania match because we deserve it, damn it. Update on Hideo Itami. He's yet to return to the ring and train following his shoulder surgery. There's no immediate expectation that he's going to return to NXT soon. And again, the original belief was 6 to 8 months that he's out, which would put him at about January 2016 as well. Are you still but the belief is? Are you still at the belief that Zayn's going to bypass NXT, or you think he's going to make a run? For
I think he bypasses NXT. I think he returns at the Royal Rumble and throws Kevin Owens out.
God, I hope so. There's no
I've
reason
had
for
this
him.
set in my mind for months that Kevin Owens is going to lose the Intercontinental Championship to Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. And it starts at the Royal Rumble. Kevin Owens is doing one of those things where he's throwing everybody out and he's sitting there and he's doing the breather shit between the matches, you know, like Austin used to do. And
That or
he
he's
like sit on
or
the apron and like pretend to look at his watch or whatever.
yeah,
And Zayn's
that or
music
he's
is gonna hit, and Zayn's gonna eliminate Owens and cost him his WrestleMania main event. And they're gonna settle at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental title. I
my
really and
other
truly
thought.
believe that.
My other thought was Zayn comes in, they immediately brawl, but neither one gets thrown out right away. So there's more people that fill the ring, and then Owens does his famous yell at Michael Cole thing, and he's never had that really cost him. There's been near falls where he's been yelling at Michael Cole and he gets rolled up. I think it'd be kind of cool to see him yelling at Michael Cole, saying how great he is, and then Zayn finally flips him over after some dessert.
My issue with that is I don't think it establishes Sami Zayn as a credible threat to Kevin Owens.
So you want him
To
to do it
to
right away?
no, well within the 2 minute time period before the next person comes out, I want Sami Zayn to throw him out. And I don't want Kevin Owens to like be in there for like a two. I'm telling you, I want Kevin Owens to come in at like number 4 or something like that, or you know, even have him come in at 1 or 2, and have it like 15, 14 or 15. Have him be the only one in the ring, and Zayn comes out at like
Mm-hmm.
14 or 15 and throws him out. And you want Zayn to look like a credible star. Like Zayn came in and he did this. It wasn't a distraction. It wasn't a fluke. It was Sami Zayn came in and eliminated Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens took the NXT title away from Sami Zayn, and Sami Zayn took the chance to main event WrestleMania away from Kevin Owens.
I also took months of Sami Zayn's career away from him too.
Quote unquote. We're going
And yeah,
storyline wise. But you know what I'm saying. That's what I want. And I think it
mm-hmm.
would be freaking awesome, dude.
God, I hope so. I hope so.
So
Last week on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, there's a segment where there's a suggestion box and it was this week was how Fallon could celebrate Thanksgiving on the show. The last suggestion in that box was the guy said he wanted to have Undertaker tombstone a guy in a turkey suit. And Fallon said it was a great idea, but it was a little too late to call the Undertaker, and he wouldn't know how to get in touch with him. That's when the lights go out, the gong hits, the Undertaker comes out, and smoke is filling up the stage, smoke and lightning. And there's a guy in a turkey suit dancing around the Undertaker, and he gets tombstoned. And of course, the most people know the guy in the turkey suit was Brad Maddox.
It's your boy Brad Maddox.
Uh, I thought, what'd you think about Undertaker's little 2 minute segment on the Tonight Show?
It was cool. I thought honestly, I thought his stage and lighting effects for his entrance on Fallon were better than anything I've seen on WWE TV this year. Um, and I thought they did a very good job protecting the Undertaker as a character.
Uh-huh.
And I very much appreciated Fallon and them for having the respect for the Undertaker to treat him like that. Like he didn't shake his hand, he stared him down. Fallon, fainted like he was scared.
Yeah,
I liked it a lot.
it was great
I
that,
thought it was a really good spot for the Undertaker. I thought they used him right. They treated him with respect, and they protected his gimmick. And I thought it was really well done.
and the Tonight Show reaches a lot of people, and Fallon plugged their Survivor Series and noting it's the 25th anniversary of the Undertaker. So I thought it was really cool for Fallon to do that. And at the end of the show, they both Maddox and Undertaker showed up, and Fallon thanked them both by name as they signed off of the show. Very cool moment, very good for the WWE. The video definitely made its rounds, and I thought overall a great way to promote Survivor Series, especially with this being the celebration of The Undertaker. Some big news coming out of NXT as the WWE releases NXT trainer Billy Gunn.
Dumbass. That's his new name. He's no longer Badass Billy Gunn. He's Dumbass Billy Gunn. Fucking dumbass.
According to PW Insider, they say that the Wrestling Observer broke the story first, reporting that Gunn was released after he tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs in a powerlifting competition. And independently, PW Insider found out that Gunn is no longer employed by the WWE.
I'm hearing he's going to be brought back.
Yeah,
I'm hearing this is a slap on the wrist to set an example.
We'll see you next year.
Yeah, pretty much. Because he wasn't drug busted from them. He was drug busted with the PEDs from the competition, and it was done in July. And WWE didn't even find out about it until like late October, early November. So I think if Billy Gunn would have just been upfront with WWE and been like, "Hey, this happened. I fucked up. I'm sorry." They probably would have just given him like a 30-day suspension. It would have been done. But since they had to find out on his own, they had to set an example and release him. I think by this time next year he'll be back. He'll be back down in the Performance Center again, working with the new talent. I really do. But he still is dumbass Billy Gunn.
We're gonna from here until the end of time of this show, we're gonna refer to him as dumbass Billy Gunn. Unless he actually comes on the show, then
dude, he's a big motherfucker. I'd run.
Yeah,
I've met him in person, dude. He is deceptively huge. He doesn't look big. He's one of those guys, that when you meet in person, you never realized how big he was until you met him. He's much bigger in person than he looks on TV. But maybe those PEDs had something to do with it.
And of course, the joke is now that when anybody gets fired from the WWE, they're basically erased from history. So I saw a meme with Road Dogg and with the lack of a tag team partner. But yeah, I think Taz mentioned it on his show too. Fully expect him to be back after a year's vacation or something like that. Yet another star of TNA is heading out the door. It is Brooke Adams, and she announced basically kind of on Twitter, put up a picture with her and a bunch of the ladies, including Gail and Christy Hemme. among others, and said that I'm going to miss these girls. Lots of last cries, jokes, smiles, fights, and love. Hashtag next chapter, hashtag the end. So she is leaving TNA. Do you think she has the talent to get back into the WWE, Matt?
No,
No?
no.
Well, that's a simple answer.
Yeah, I have nothing else to say regarding Brooke Tessmacher. No, she is not good enough to getting back in WWE. So whatever she's going off to do, I hope she's successful. Wish her the best in her future endeavors, and don't let the door hit you on your big ass on the way out.
Oh, that ass. I love that ass. One last tidbit of news. Actually, we got couple, but one's going to be tied into Raw, which we're going to actually just bring up now instead of waiting for the Raw report. But a new guy signed to a legend contract, and it is the Boogeyman. So
Do you want me to comment on this? Because you're not gonna
yeah,
like
go
it.
ahead, go ahead.
We might as well just call this. It shouldn't be called a Legends contract anymore.
A legend gimmick contract.
This should be called a merchandising contract. We just signed Superstar Billy Graham to a merchandising contract. We've just signed Boogeyman to a merchandising contract. Because I'm sorry, at the point that you have put the Boogeyman and WWE Legend in the same sentence, I no longer buy that statement as credible.
Tick tock, tick tock. I like the Boogeyman though.
Dude, Boogeyman's fine. I like Boogeyman.
He's just not a legend.
But he's not a freaking legend.
Alumni contract. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. I'd even accept. I would even accept alumni.
Yeah, because that's what they call it, the alumni
But
section.
there is no freaking way that I can accept him as a freaking.
Oh, you know it's coming, Matt. He's going to be in the WWE Hall of Fame eventually. You know it. It's coming. Book it. All right, we're going to talk about the elephant in the room from the end of Monday Night Raw. The end of Raw. Surprisingly, the women closed out the go home show for the Survivor Series on Raw with the contract signing. And while it was a great segment for the women, there was some unnecessary things to throw heat on the fire. Of course, it's not the first time WWE's garnered cheap heat from the loss of a life, but Matt and I are both in agreement. We'll let Matt talk here in just a minute, but basically what had happened was Charlotte said that her family has a lot of fight in them, and then Paige said, "Well, your brother does not have any fight left in him," which then started the big brawl.
She said something to the effect of that her brother didn't put up much of a fight.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, and Reed and Charlotte's mother, Elizabeth Flair, took to Twitter to comment, writing to the WWE writers, also at Steph McMahon, at Vince McMahon, at Triple H. WWE writers, really? That's lazy, cheap heat, disgusting, disrespectful, cruel, sad. And also, we learned that Ric Flair had no idea that this was happening, and when he was made aware of it, he started to cry as well, as the loss of Reed definitely affected him. It affected him greatly. So, a great segment, Matt, but that was pretty much unnecessary. Do you agree?
Oh, it was absolutely unnecessary, and I
Mm-hmm.
agree with their mom. It's lazy ass booking. I how can you say it is anything else? It's cheap heat in its most disgusting of forms, and it should have never been done. And the fact that Ric Flair was not contacted on Monday prior to this storyline running, it was not told about this before it happened, makes it 100 times worse. Because if Ric Flair was informed Monday, they said, "Hey, Rick, we've talked to Charlotte. We want to do this. We want to make sure that you're okay with it." And if Rick would have okayed it, as much as I hated it and as much as I didn't like it, if Rick said okay and Charlotte said okay, who am I to freaking judge?
Yeah.
But the fact that you didn't even contact Rick and Rick had to find out the way he found out. If you listen to his podcast, Woo Nation, I normally don't. But I went out of my way to go listen to that, and you listen to his voice and the way he describes this situation, it's really hard to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's really rough. And I'm absolutely disgusted
And I'm surprised.
that WWE would do this.
I'm surprised that they did this again because allegedly they didn't reach out to Percy Pringle's family either when they used the Undertaker's death with the CM Punk feud. So,
I heard they did.
oh,
I heard
they were
they
they
were
came
I heard
out.
they were backstage when it happened.
I heard the Suns came out and said they weren't notified.
I was pretty certain they were backstage when that storyline first started.
They could have been backstage and still not known too. But
Well,
I know
sure.
one of the brothers or one of the sons came out and said that he had no knowledge of it. So yeah, I don't know, and I don't. This has gotten a lot of publicity, so you would think the WWE would take a step back, but they probably won't. They'll exploit it for everything to sell the pay per view. But we'll talk a little more about Raw here in a little bit. But first, let's go to some burning questions, Matt. This week, the topic is Axel and Sandow, a couple of guys that we are big fans of that are currently MIA or JTG, whatever initials you want to use for that.
Cheer.
Cheer. What is the best spot to put Curtis Axel right now, in your opinion?
It's rough. That's rough. Um, I honestly don't know. I don't have a good answer for like I think the last thing you want to do right now is just plug him in somewhere and hope that it's gonna work. You're gonna have to bring him back in a storyline fashion, and I'm having trouble figuring out a right thing to make it work and to bring him back right now. Because I just feel like the last thing you want to do is just bring him back on TV and and have him do nothing.
Would the best course of action to be to do what they did with Zack Ryder and pair him up with an NXT superstar and form a tag team?
No, dude, he's been in this way too long. The last thing he needs to do is go down to NXT again.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of veterans in NXT, so it's not necessarily the demotion that it looked upon before
No, but I mean,
when he was in the McKillicuddy.
he was down in FCW for crying out loud.
Yeah.
He's been in the company overall for far too long to go back
Well,
down there.
yeah, and he's also had two runs in NXT, one with as McGillicuddy post Nexus, and then another smaller run with Axel.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. You honestly, you know what? I got a perfect spot
Okay.
for him. If they're really serious about this storyline and it's actually going somewhere, have him join Mex America.
you're gonna laugh at my third question.
I'm just saying. Look, it'll give him Zeb. It will give him backup with Del Rio. They can do tag matches. They can, he could automatically put him in like some matches with Jack Swagger that he can pick up some easy wins with. It would be a good way to establish him back on TV as someone that's is viewed as important.
As some of you regular listeners may know, Matt does not know these questions ahead of time.
I don't. You're blindsiding me.
So let's skip to the third question, and we'll skip over question 2 for now. My third question was, would either one be a good fit to be paired with Coulter as an American ambassador to Mex America?
Well, there you go.
No joke. That was my third
there
question.
you go. Yeah, Curtis Axel.
So same question for Sandow. For my let's hop back to my second question. What's the best spot for Damian Sandow right now? Go back to his old gimmick with the intellectual savior of the masses, but as a face. Uh,
I
you
would
know,
say yes, because the gimmick isn't broken. He has a
no,
gimmick. He's good on the microphone. He's not. He's no long. He's. I wouldn't say he's fresh in anybody's mind anymore. So they could bring him back in with that gimmick, and he should be fine. I don't think he would have any problem at all. He could come in and do his thing. And yeah, you just have to push him.
I think the immediate feud that they could do with him right away, bringing him back, would be with Stardust because they got history, and have him go over Stardust in the long run, and then have him
Dude,
move on to.
I know. I'd have him come back and exercise the demons and beat the Miz.
Oh yeah,
I think that's the first thing you do. I would,
except
I would, I would
I
bring.
want to push the Miz right now.
Well, the Miz isn't being pushed,
No.
so I mean, he jobbed to one of the weakest looking super kicks I've ever seen. So I just feel like at this point it would be a perfect time to bring him back, have him interrupt like a segment of Miz TV, challenge Miz to a match, and have him kick his ass, and like dominate him. And be like, damn, Sandow's back.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do.
Fourth question: they have had chemistry as the Mega Powers 2.0. Could they be a viable tag team now? Could they be a tag team to
Oh,
start off in
absolutely.
NXT and work? Or there's also NXT right now is a hotbed for tag teams. So is the main roster. So either one. Do you think as a tag team
I
would?
honestly would not mind seeing them attempt their gimmicks not as Mandow and Axelmania, but them together as a tag team, because I hear they're still doing that on the house show loop. So I wouldn't mind seeing them. There's nothing wrong with beefing up the tag team division, and there's plenty of people that they can come in and beat the Ascension.
The Ascension.
That they can come in and look good doing it, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's not a bad thing at all. I get them on there as a tag team. If you don't want to push either of these guys as single stars, a tag team might actually work, because the last time anybody saw them on main TV anyway, they were a tag team.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they come out, back to Curtis Axel and Damian Sandow. They cut a promo, and make it real. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
I would do a work shoot on it, and I'm Axel, and I'd be like, hey, my gimmick was ripped away from me because some guy, some idiot said stupid things that shouldn't have been said. You know what I'm saying? Cut a freaking promo on Hogan, and Sandow be like, yeah, thanks to that guy, we got yanked off TV for months, and we've been sitting back and catering, and we're freaking tired of it. Make it real. Do something to connect with the crowd, because art imitating life is some of the best stuff that can get you over.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not a bad idea at all. You use a little bit of real life, get the oohs and ahs out of the crowd from the work shoot, and bring them back as a serious tag team that is tired of not being taken seriously, and they're going to start proving people wrong.
Final question. Probably know the answer to this, but there are always talks about the Wyatt family expanding. Leo Kruger still being mentioned if they do repackage Adam Rose. Do you think either one of these guys would fit in as a repackage with the Wyatts?
No,
No.
no. I think the Wyatts are big enough as they are right now, and like I said earlier in the show, and I meant what I said, Bray Wyatt is a glorified jobber to the stars right now, and I don't think he needs anybody else in his group. And until he can actually win a feud with somebody other than Chris Jericho, I don't want to hear anything else about him taking another superstar and putting them in their group, when honestly they're more over than he is.
All right, that's
And
it for
that's all
burning
I've got to
questions.
say about that.
What? And that's it for burning questions this week. And we'll want to let you know that our Survivor Series top five this week is going to be, or for this month, is going to be top five guys that need a main event push in 2016. Should be interesting to see what both of us have for that list.
Yeah,
And also,
basically, it comes down to five people that need to be pushed into the main event of WWE's product in next year. Like by the time we reach the end of December of 2016, these five names that we say should be people that should be at the top of the card. I'm not saying they need to be WWE champion. But they need to be, if they hold the IC or US title, it shouldn't be a surprise. And they should be able to hold their own in the ring with people like Randy Orton and John Cena and Kevin Owens and etc. And, not be like, oh, what are they doing in there with them? They're just gonna, get their ass kicked.
mhm.
That's what we're looking to establish. We need five people to step their game up in 2016. Well, not as much as they need to step their game up. WWE Creative needs to step their game up and help these guys out because
Yeah.
everybody on that roster right now is working their asses off. And WWE Creative and Vinny Rue, well, not Vinny Rue, but
Ruru,
Vinny Rue might as well be working
Vin,
into the creative so bad. But Vince
Vinny
Mc,
Ruru.
yeah, Vinny
Oh,
Vinny Riri McMahon needs to get their creative heads out of their ass and build some freaking talent. And as much as I hate TNA right now, um, the fact that they're making main event stars out of people that months ago and still even today could be argued have no business being in the main event, Muhammad Ali Shera. Um, they, more power to them. At least they're trying. We give TNA a lot of shit for a lot of things, but at least TNA is trying to create new stars. So WWE, if TNA can try to create new stars, you can try to create new stars.
who was that guy you just muttered under your breath?
Mahabali Shera.
I don't even know who the hell that is. So
Yeah, you
that
don't want to know. If you don't know, you don't want to know. He was that guy. He
also,
was that dude that was with the Revolution, the guy from India. Like he was called like Koda or whatever.
Koya.
Koya, yeah. And they
Oh,
they
that guy.
yeah. Well, they changed his. He turned on Storm in the Revolution, and he's going by his real name now. And the entire internet is afraid that he's going to win TNA's World Championship when they go over to India and tape those TVs in December. So
So he's going by his real name, a shittier version of Mason Ryan.
he wishes he was Mason Ryan.
Programming note for the yeah, programming note for Survivor Series. I'm going to be out of town on Sunday. Most likely will not be back in time to be able to record our thoughts after the pay per view, but we are going to do so early Monday evening, and we will get that out for distribution on Monday night instead of Monday morning. So we'll get that out to you still on Monday, but just later on in the day.
Honestly, you'll probably be able to catch our Survivor Series thoughts right after Raw goes off the air.
Basically.
That would be my guess. Because we'll probably be up right around the time. Um, we'll probably go up right around the time Raw starts. So the show will be available for you to listen to right after Raw's over. Obviously, we won't be talking about Raw. We'll be talking about that on the Thursday show, but you know what I mean.
Yep. Let's go to Ring of Honor. We got 3 weeks of television to talk about real quick. Halloween, the big main event, a triple threat to close out the show. But first off, Steve Carino is not at ringside, and we got Nigel McGuinness and Mark Briscoe. I thought Mark did a pretty good job on color commentary for being Mark Briscoe.
For being
I didn't,
Mark Briscoe, that's damning with faint praise.
I I didn't think it was bad at all. I thought he was good on commentary.
I just okay.
We kicked off the night with the latest tag team of Silas Young and the Beer City Bruiser with the boys. Took on the Young Bucks, fresh off of a Ring of Honor contract, and basically the Bucks had worked over Young and the Bruiser, and then finally Silas grabs the mic and says, "You know what? It's time for the boys to get in there." And well, the boys they They the Young Bucks are small guys. The boys are freaking tiny compared to the Bucks.
Yeah.
So yeah, Young Bucks whoop some ass there. Odd match after that I thought was Will Ferreira and Roderick Strong. I guess basically just a squash match to put over Roderick, but kind of odd that they put Will Ferreira in that match. But they're both kind of faces, I think. And still, Will Ferrell is best known as the cameraman that Dean Ambrose punched out. Uh, do you see a future with Will Ferrell at all? I mean,
Meh.
it just doesn't seem like he has it. He's also got he's got moves to put but you can do stuff in the ring and but there's still that thing that the Tanner factor, right?
Yeah.
But then we got the main event. What a treat! Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, AJ Styles, and the ring was filled with people as the Kingdom came with Adam Cole, Fish and Elgin came with O'Reilly, and the Bucks came with Styles. And right away, Nigel grabs the mic and says, "Everybody go to the back. This is going to be a true triple threat match." And Matt, just as we predicted, this was just completely amazing, wasn't it?
But of course.
Were you surprised at Adam Cole getting the pinfall?
No.
No?
No. Because I think they're establishing him as he's gonna face whoever wins between Styles and Lethal.
Um, and for some odd reason, we don't get Mandy Leone on Inside ROH the last couple weeks. We've been getting Adam Cole.
Boo.
Oh, I know. I'm pissed.
Boo. We want Mandy.
And he's putting Mandy did say on Twitter she'll be back soon, so don't worry. But it sounds like they're really still pushing Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. I'm guessing that'll probably be a final battle match with those two guys. And then Adam Cole probably goes over Kyle O'Reilly and then is next in line for the title. That sound about right?
Probably.
But yeah, a great triple threat match. But I mean, hell, on paper it was already a great match. So definitely a lot of fun to see. The next week, on the 7th, we got Cedric Alexander with Veda Scott against ACH. Veda, of course, yelling at Nigel at ringside on commentary as she's threatening to sue Nigel for unprofessional and unsafe work conditions. And just as she was already going to sue him, well, Alexander slips on the top rope and takes a nasty bump. He did a good job of making that look like it. I thought he fucked up at first. I didn't realize that was on purpose at first. I thought he fucked up. But are you kind of surprised that ACH got the win here? I thought they were kind of pushing Cedric, and now he's losing. He's lost the last couple of matches.
I don't think you wanted to be. I think you wanted to hurt ACH or Seidel when they were going into the winner of that best of 5. So
yeah.
so to me, it made sense.
I kind of figured when they paired up Cedric with Veda, he'd kind of start to move up the chain a little bit, at least to maybe the TV title picture or something. But it seems like he's going backwards with Veda Scott. So ACH gets the win by pinfall. And we get another match with Will Ferrara and Caprice Coleman. And Caprice gets the win by pinfall. And Prince Nana, he's got a little envelope for Caprice as well. Got any little speculation what's in those envelopes that Prince Nana's handing out?
I don't know what's in the envelopes, but it's pretty obvious to me that he's looking to reform his old stable group. So that's what I think is going on right now.
Do you know off the top of your head, is there anybody currently on the roster that was in that stable back in the day?
I honestly don't remember off the top of my head.
And as I said, Inside ROH is replaced by Storytime with Adam Cole. And Matt, once again, tell us your thoughts.
Boo, we want Mandy.
Thank you. Kevin Kelly interviewed Prince Nana at ringside and said, "What's in the envelope?" And Nana just says that this is the edge of enlightenment and the keys of life are in that envelope. So we don't know who he's talking about or what he's talking about or who he's talking about because somebody else will probably get an envelope here pretty soon. So stay tuned. Rematch from All Star Extravaganza is the main event for television on the 7th of November. All Night Express against the Briscoes. The Briscoes get their win back, so maybe a rubber match is maybe in the works at Final Battle. Who knows? We'll see where that leads. But again, just with as always in Ring of Honor, the tag team matches are entertaining as hell, and that will carry over to our main event from this past Saturday as we get the tag team title match between the Addiction, who exercise the rematch clause, and the Kingdom. In kind of an interesting Ring of Honor match here. Beer City Bruiser with Silas Young, and to start the night, Silas Young showing the boys how to change a tire. How good was that?
So ridiculous.
I think what happens later is even more ridiculous, Matt, but we'll ask that in a minute. Young and the Beer City Bruiser with the boys take on War Machine. War Machine is the number one contender to the tag title, so whoever comes out of this uh, main event tonight gets to face War Machine at Final Battle in December. And to nobody's surprise, War Machine destroys Young and the Beer City Bruiser. And after the match, we get Steve Corino coming down to the ring, and Nigel reminds him about the zero tolerance policy about touching wrestlers, and he knew that and still put his hands on Whitmer. He says that he cannot reinstate him as a commentator, but can reinstate him as a wrestler. And he announces that it's going to be Corino and BJ Whitmer in a fight without honor match at Final Battle. Corino grabs the mic and says that it felt great when he hit BJ with the roll of quarters. He got a rush of being a pro wrestler again, but then he has talked about his neck problems and he has to have neck surgery, so that match will not happen. But he put over a lot of guys, a lot of friends in the business. He thanked Ring of Honor for keeping him around when they didn't have to. Put over a lot of guys by name, including Adam Pearce, Jimmy Jacobs, Kevin Steen, all of which currently in the WWE. And the crowd chants, "Thank you, Steve." And he says, "No, thank you. My name is Steve Corino, and I will always be an evil man." Shook Nigel's hand, gave him a hug, gave Kevin Kelly a hug as well as Bobby Cruz before heading to the back. Do you expect? I would expect Corino probably is going to be back in the commentator position after he heals. I'd assume.
You would certainly think so.
But he
But I don't
probably
know.
is not going to be in the ring again, right?
I don't think it's safe
No.
for
He
him
could
for him to think about getting back in the ring again.
he could have someone fight for him maybe when he comes back, and he could still throw a punch to Corino, or Corino could still throw a punch at BJ Whitmer, like all of us want to. But definitely wish Steve Corino a speedy recovery from the neck surgery that I believe he just had it.
Yeah, I think it was just very recently.
Now, Matt, you said it was ridiculous when the boys were changing a tire. How about when the boys tried to sit down on a urinal? I I got no words for that one. Let's just move on.
Yeah, there we go.
Unbreakable Michael Elgin takes on Kevin Lee Davidson, who I think he stole Samoa Joe's tights, and that's about all he had of Samoa Joe because he got laid out pretty quick. Actually, there was like a clothesline and a pin, and that was it. I was like, what's the point of this? But yeah, I don't know. He Elgin cut a promo, and also saying that he's going to go for the ROH title sometime soon. Are they really pushing him that direction, you think? I know you aren't a big fan of his, but
Yeah, I don't know. I hope not.
it is time for the main event from this past Saturday's television tag team title match between The Addiction with Chris Sabin against The Kingdom with the beautiful Maria Kanellis Bennett. And this is the match that I had put over earlier as a great double tribute to Eddie. As at one point, I believe it was Taven and I think it was Taven and Kaz. They're facing off. Each guy's got a chair in their hands. They both slam it down on the mat at the same time and fall over like they got hurt. and then and then when the ref would check on the one guy, the other guy would like sit up, but then the ref turn around, he would act like he was playing dead again. Great tribute to Eddie there. I think I was. I mean, it had to been on. I think that was what they were going for
Probably.
with it being the anniversary. And how about that super kick that Maria landed on Daniels there late in the match? That was pretty nice one, huh?
She can hit him when she wants to.
She's usually the one that eats the super kicks, especially by the Bucks.
True that. Everybody eats a super kick from the Bucks.
Suck it. But this was a great match. Even better than the Briscoes and All Night Express. I thought this was a very, very fun tag match. Obviously, the Kingdom are kind of jokesters too. And I'm a big fan of Kaz and Daniels. I have been for many, many years. And once again, we got the return of the guy in the KRD mask. And you still think it's Alex Shelley, huh?
As I said from the beginning, I think it's either Shelley or Aries. I don't. I would be shocked if it was anybody else.
Are we gonna find out before 2017?
I think we'll find out at the pay-per-view.
At a Final Battle?
Yeah.
I hope so, because I'm really itching to see if it's Aries, because I definitely want to see him start his run with Ring of Honor once again. Thanks to the guy in the KRD mask, the Kingdom gets the win by pinfall, and so we'll have to see where all that is heading, and it's going to be the Kingdom and War Machine at Final Battle. At the end of the TV tapings, War Machine comes out to do a stare down. All right, let's head to Raw from last week on the 9th, tape delayed from Manchester, England, and Triple H starts the show out with a addressing of the WWE title situation. He says with the vacant title on the podium, he praised Rollins for being a fighting champion that successfully defended his title. The fans with a gigantic thank you Rollins chant in support of the former WWE champion, and Roman Reigns comes out to the ring, and Hunter, of course, starts to work his magic and says that Reigns could just shoot right to the front of the line and be his guy, be the champion. But Roman says that he is not a guy that sells out. He never was, and he never will. Wow, is that a little foreshadowing, Matt?
I think so, but we'll find out.
Little reverse psychology. Hunter says, well, if you're not going to take my deal, you got to go back to the beginning of the line, or let's say the first round of this tournament, as it is unveiled that we have a 16-man tournament to determine who is going to be the next WWE World Heavyweight Champion, with the semifinals and finals occurring on Survivor Series. And so, with the first round, we get a once-in-a-lifetime match between Roman Reigns and The Big Show. I've honestly, I don't think I've seen this matchup before. Have you? Did you think for 1 second Big Show was going to win here?
No. You're just trying to agitate me right now, JB.
I'm trying. Yes, as we all know, Roman Reigns goes over the Big Show easy. Kevin Owens comes out with the Intercontinental title, and he mentions that we should buy his theme song on iTunes so we can put more money in his pocket. I thought that was pretty funny. And he ripped on England for not being smart fans and mocked him for supporting the Queen. Owens, of course, does his little prize fighting stick, and there you go. His first round matchup is against Titus O'Neil. Interesting add to the tournament, and so by no surprise, Kevin Owens defeats Titus.
Shit, we're one guy short. Who the hell do we throw in this tournament? They're the first guy you see in catering in the tournament. And
put him in.
Titus O'Neil got in.
That's how. That's a look behind the fourth wall, ladies and gentlemen, at WWE booking right there.
Because it's true.
Paige and Becky Lynch in your typical let's screw the hometown girl match as There was a quick little 5 minute typical diva match as they usually go on Raw pre Revolution and even a little bit after the Revolution as well. Paige tried to get a roll up on pulling the tights, but Lynch was able to kick out, roll her up, and pulled the tights herself. Well, uh, what was the point of having Becky Lynch go over here outside of screwing Paige in her home country?
Ain't nothing wrong with keeping the shine on Becky Lynch until they're ready to push her to the title.
She had no. Yeah, were you surprised Becky got the win?
No, not really. I really wasn't.
Well, Paige got her heat back as she throws Becky into the announce table and applies the PTO on the announce table.
Uh-oh.
And then, woo! Charlotte comes out to break it up, and Paige hightails it and runs. Next first round tournament match between Dolph Ziggler and The Miz. Here you go, WWE. Chance to push The Miz. But no, that's all right, though, because Dolph Ziggler got the win. Very quick matchup there, but a solid match between the two. Those two guys definitely know each other. Alberto Del Rio and Zeb Coulter appear on stage with the Mex America flag, and Coulter ripped on the haters, and that everybody's got all this hate in the world. And I guess Coulter and Del Rio are nothing but love, right? Right, Matt?
Yeah, man, you didn't know?
Viva Mex America. Natalya takes on Naomi as Natalya is continuing to feud with Team Bad, and she is now 2-0 against Team Bad. And do you think they slide her and Sasha Banks into Survivor Series? Is there room?
I would like that very much. There's plenty of room.
I mean there was a match announced today, which we'll go over on our predictions. That a little hard to predict this show because there's too obvious and there's a lot of unknowns. But yeah, I'd love to see Natalya and Sasha see if Natty can go 3-0 against Team Bad. But again, this was a 2-minute match, so the Divas definitely not getting the spotlight on them in jolly old England. Sheamus, hey, Sheamus still works for the company. I didn't know that.
Money in the bank, buddy.
I know, but he hasn't been used much lately. But him with King Barrett came out against Cesaro, and this was a long match, over 15 minutes, and it was definitely a great highlight for the night between Sheamus and Cesaro, two guys that definitely with a great brawling style. And again, to nobody's surprise, Cesaro gets the win there because Sheamus he can cash that baby in at any time. He doesn't have to win a tournament to do so. One little thing there is we get a little celebrity involvement. Wayne Rooney from Manchester United slapping Barrett. I thought it was kind of interesting because Wayne really didn't put much effort into that.
I hated that Barrett sold it like a gunshot.
He did. That's a damn good explanation. He sold it like a gunshot, and Rooney didn't even lean into it at all. He just stood stone faced and
yeah, it was super weak. And the only thing that moved was Barrett sold it like it was death.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. That was a little awkward. I mean, yeah, like Rooney. I think the only thing that moved was his arm. I mean, nothing else on his body moved. It looked terrible. Another first round tournament match: Dean Ambrose against Tyler Breeze, and wow, this was a great treat. As two of the better wrestlers in the company, they went about 12 minutes, and again, to nobody's surprise, Dean Ambrose advances into this one. And but yeah, a really good match between Ambrose and Breeze. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty funny when Ambrose when they were both on the outside. I thought it was pretty funny when Ambrose got onto the guardrail and did the old Tyler Breeze pose. Oh, hey, Matt, we want some New Day, don't we?
We always want some New Day.
The English crowd with a gigantic pop for the New Day. And JBL says the Spice Girls could learn something from their dancing.
Oh, my.
Oh, Lord. Kofi Kingston complained that all the members of the New Day were left out of the tournament. I think these two guys on this show here are complaining that they were left out of the tournament too. Correct?
I actually have a mixed feeling on that because if they were all going to be put in the tournament just to job out, I don't honestly mind them being excluded.
Well, and then yeah, I get your point there, but at the same time, I thought maybe they could do what Kalisto did.
Yeah, but I mean, if they didn't have any plans to do that, they protected them by them not being in there. So
Yeah,
I
and it
really
gave them
didn't have that much of a problem with it
and it
because I
gave them
felt it
something to,
protected them by not being in the tournament.
and it gave them something to say on the microphone.
True that.
Um, and once again, one of the highlights of Raw is getting out the unicorns and supporting the New Day. The New Day took on the Usos and Neville, and New Day gets over there in a pretty short match, unfortunately. And to close the show, we got the eulogy from Bray Wyatt for Undertaker and Kane. And as Bray is delivering his eulogy, the cheesy special effects come in, and we see the Brothers of Destruction together again. Now, Matt, we've already covered how cheesy we think all this was, but still, how cool is it to probably see the last run of the Brothers of Destruction?
I don't do as they said. I don't mind at any point when this is being done for the Undertaker and Kane. I have a
Mm.
massive problem for when it's being done with Bray Wyatt because I don't think his character at any point has done anything to earn it. So I'm totally cool with this. I thought the Undertaker's stuff return was pretty great. So I no, I didn't have a problem with it at all.
Would you like
So
to see? Would you like to see the Brothers of Destruction? Let's say Royal Rumble. Would you like to see a feud? This probably won't happen, but would you like to see a feud? The Brothers of Destruction going one more time for the tag titles and feud with the New Day?
not against the New Day. No,
No.
no. If somebody else were tag champs, somebody bigger, more serious, maybe like the Dudley Boys. But not the New Day. I don't think that their gimmicks would play very well with each other. So no, I would not like to see that.
Yeah, it probably would lend to
Honestly, after
it.
Survivor Series, I don't think we're gonna see the Undertaker until Mania season anyway.
No. And still, I keep seeing John Cena as the leader in the clubhouse.
Yeah, that's I'm hearing the same thing.
I don't mind it though, because I mean,
I don't mind it either. It should be good.
Cena's Cena's still my 2015 Wrestler of the Year, probably.
And if they want
So,
to, they can close the show with that.
hmm
Like if they're not feeling the build on whoever the champion is against the Royal Rumble winner, they could close with Undertaker and Cena,
hmm
no one's going to throw a flag on that,
mm
especially if it's
um,
Taker's last match.
now, word kind of, obviously, card subject to change. Word is it could be Lesnar and Reigns again. Would you be okay with that now that Seth Rollins is hurt?
I think the chapter on the WWE Championship is yet to be decided,
Mm.
but I wouldn't have a problem with it, but I really wouldn't want to see it close the show again.
What about
That's for sure.
what about Reigns Ambrose?
We're already going to see that.
Well,
Um, this
what if
Sunday and maybe
what if the
going
screw
forward
what if the
afterward.
what
So
if the screw job happens though?
no, because I can't see them holding it off that long. You're gonna tell me that if something happens in Survivor Series and these two aren't gonna touch again until WrestleMania.
No.
I mean, if you can pull that off, by all
Can you
means,
stretch it out
if you
though? I mean,
if you can, sure. You know, have whoever turns heel with the authority forbids the other guy from getting a title shot against their champion at TLC because it was just a tournament. It wasn't you're not entitled to a rematch clause. You were never the champion to begin with. So in
no.
the back of the line you go,
Yep.
and that person needs to win the Royal Rumble to get their shot against the guy who screwed them in Survivor Series. Yeah, I wouldn't have any problem with that at all. But the thing they need to do is honestly, if they fight at Survivor Series, they can't fight again until WrestleMania. It has to be a chase. It has
Well, you just told us how
you have to build up the anticipation to the point that people would really be excited about seeing it happen.
Yeah, and you just basically said how you can stretch it out.
Of course I
And
did, because I'm brilliant.
I I still would love to see Ambrose win the Rumble. That'd be I think that'd be a fun way
I'd
to
be
end.
totally cool with that.
Yeah, that'd be a fun way to end the Rumble. I think. Yeah, we need
It
something.
would finally be a rumble where I think people would be excited
Yeah, we need
about
something.
about who won it.
We need this year has to be a Daniel Bryan, an Ambrose, or a Cesaro winning the Royal Rumble. It can't be no Roman Reigns, Batista. You know, it just can't. But let's go to SmackDown from this past week. Once again, we are in jolly old England. And hey, Fandango's still hired in the company, and he got eaten by Braun Strowman. Another first round matchup of two guys we've seen quite a bit, but still, these guys put on a good match between Neville and King Barrett. With Neville getting the win there, I thought it was pretty good though between those two. Upset of the tournament between Kalisto and Ryback, and I don't. It didn't seem like a surprise to me just because Del Rio was up above on the bracket. You agree?
Yeah. It honestly, when I first saw the bracket, I was like, wait a second, why isn't Stardust facing Ryback and Del Rio's facing Callisto?
Uh huh. Yeah.
And they kind of, they exposed why, because they wanted to do that in the next round.
Mhm. But still a major upset for Kalisto, and he hit the Salida del Sol off the top rope on Ryback. Really impressive move there, and Ryback shakes Kalisto's hand at the end, gives him respect, raises his hand
Show me
as
respect.
the big guy can do. And Alberto Del Rio, who has been winning a lot, and Stardust, who's been losing a lot. So it's no surprise to you there that Del Rio advanced from that. Tag match between the Usos and Harper and Rowan closes off the show, and kind of good to see the Usos back together again. But no surprise once the Usos start to get the upper hand, the family comes in and beats down the Usos to end Raw. And that then they announced on Raw or on SmackDown that it'll be the Brothers of Destruction taking on any two members of the Wyatt family, which Bray gets to choose. Do we go with the two best guys here? And it's Strowman and Rowan? I'm kidding. Do we? Is it safe to assume it's going to be Harper and Wyatt?
I no, I think it's going to be Strowman and Wyatt. Unfortunately,
Oh,
I really do. Yeah,
Stro.
I think it's going to be Strowman and Wyatt.
This past Monday night on Raw, episode 1173. Everybody on the stage for a moment of silence as to honor those that lives were lost in Paris, France on the attacks. And kind of an interesting thing, if you look real close, Matt, you could see Dustin Rhodes in street clothes was out there.
Yep. No, he was right up front and center. It wasn't really hard to look.
Yep. And he
They
is
didn't
coming
even
back.
try to hide him. I thought it was rather odd.
Yeah, and he's coming back soon. I wonder if he's going to be the guy to replace Billy Gunn down at the Performance Center.
Couldn't hurt.
No. There was a rumor that we talked about a couple of weeks ago on the show that he was going to be down at NXT talking and working. And he was also, I believe, he was down there when they did the big All Access tour. So I think when we did that account of one of the guys, he
Yeah, you're
said that.
right. You're right. He was
Yeah.
down there.
So it wouldn't surprise me if he fills in. All four quarterfinal matches are going to take place on this Raw, and the show starts with Undertaker and Kane making their way to the ring, and then they cut their promo. Pretty good promo. Nothing out of the ordinary or anything. Wyatt family makes their entrance, and a bunch of druids that have sheep masks came and surrounded the ring, and Undertaker and Kane disposed of them rather quickly. I thought it was quite dumb though when JBL said that Wyatt was able to turn the druids on Taker and Kane. It's like they're not this. No, these are just Wyatt's henchmen. It's like an old Batman '60s episode when all the useless henchmen get sicked onto Batman and Robin, and they destroy him.
It's whatever. It was hokey. I mean, and that's the problem. I mean, it's kind of weird that I can buy what uh I can buy what Taker and Kane do special effect wise as believable, but when Bray does it, I just find myself rolling my eyes because it
Yeah.
just seems so corny and hokey, and it's to me it's just not believable at all. Because that's not how the character was presented when he first came in.
No,
So it's
like more of a
just
it was more of a cult leader, not a
yeah,
supernatural figure.
yeah, exactly. So it just when he does it, I can't get into it. It just it seems really really cheesy, and I think it hurt. Honestly, I think it hurts Bray Wyatt more than it helps him.
I think they were going on the right path with Bray Wyatt, carrying off Taker, carrying off Kane, but then once they started that stupid special effects stuff, I mean, I think up did you agree up until then it was pretty good and not as hokey?
Yeah, I was okay with it until this segment a few weeks ago when he controlled the fire and the lightning and all this stupid shit.
The cartoon lightning.
Yeah, it was awful. Like I said, the stuff on Fallon, Fat and Jimmy Fallon when Taker was on there looked better than any of the production lighting they've done for any of those guys. Um, you know, all year.
The first quarterfinal match of Monday Night Raw this past week was a battle of former NXT champions Kevin Owens and Neville. And I tell you what, man, these guys brought it for a little over of a 10-minute match. I thought this was just a crazy good match that ended with a pop-up powerbomb that not in the typical way. Kind of Neville charged in, and they were kind of in the corner instead of Owens typically setting it up with throwing Neville into the ropes. So the pop-up powerbomb was kind of like an RKO. It kind of came out of nowhere.
Yep.
But these guys put on a great match. I thought it was brilliant. Um, are you in the belief that the WWE could push Neville way up there eventually?
It could happen when Vince steps down.
Yeah.
Not right now.
No, I mean, I'm not talking about
He's a midget with funny looking ears.
he belongs in one of those Hobbit movies.
Pal.
But I mean, somebody mentioned it earlier. Like some of these wrestlers, they need to just take the reins off them and let them be themselves. Uh, the one I remember, I saw one reader mention he's like talked about the table for three with Neville, Samoa Joe, and Curtis Axel. He's like, there's so much personality in Neville, and they just can't. They just aren't using it.
Yep.
It's like it was the same thing with Kofi Kingston for so many years. You're like, where did all this great promo work come from? The guy had never been a heel ever, and when you turn him heel and give him the mic, he's killing it. Why? This is a rhetorical question, Matt, but why the fuck don't they see this? you know?
It's a good question.
They show photos of Seth Rollins' surgery in Birmingham, Alabama. Once again, the recovery time 6 to 9 months, and they showed Seth Rollins' tweet that we talked about earlier. Tyler Breeze taking on R-Truth, and so this is, I believe, is this Tyler Breeze's first official match?
No, if you're not counting the tournament.
Oh, the tournament. The tournament was his first official match.
Yeah.
This is his first official win, of course, because it's R-Truth. And the beauty shot in 5 minutes to go over R-Truth there.
People over there, what's up? I'm coming out the job, so you know that's up. What's up?
Job up. What's up? Job up.
As soon as he came out, I'm like, oh, look, Tyler Breeze is getting a win.
Yeah.
Good for him.
I ran to my bookie as fast as I could before the bell rang, get that $1,000 bet in to win $10.
Wait a minute.
Next quarterfinal matchup, Ziggler and Ambrose, and these guys got about 15 minutes, and This match was great too. All the like you said on Twitter to me, 3 of the 4 matches were great, and this was definitely one of them. Lots of great near falls and lots of interesting moves. Ziggler nailing an X Factor off the top rope. Uh, just super kick, super kick and famoussers. This is the great thing about using these as finishing moves every once in a while, is when they're landed in a big match, you start to think, oh, this could be it. There, that moment when he landed that super kick and fell on Ambrose, you could legitimately think, oh, this could be the win for Ziggler, And so they did a great job of just telling the story in that match. In the end, though, Dirty Deeds was hit by my boy Dean Ambrose, and Ambrose moves on to the semifinals. He'll face Kevin Owens. So once again, another great match between those two guys, and most likely Ziggler. Actually, it was just announced. This isn't really a SmackDown spoiler, but it was announced on SmackDown that it will be Breeze and Ziggler. Correct?
For Survivor Series, yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm
Yes.
pretty sure you're right.
Yes, it is on the Wikipedia page too. So
Well, if it's on
I think
Wikipedia, it must be true.
Bonjour. Post match, Ambrose grabs the mic and says, when he wins the WWE title at Survivor Series, he's going to change some things up. He's going to replace Michael Cole with a fish tank.
I'm okay with that. I wish he would replace JBL instead.
Michael! I popped pretty hard for that. He says he wants more promos. Hey, is this a little bit of a shoot here?
He said he wanted less promos.
No, or pyro. He wants more pyro.
Yes, more pyro, yes. He wanted more fighting and less talking.
More action, less talking. That was probably a shoot, right?
I would think so.
And he says he'll turn the whole place into the Ambrose Asylum. I love that little promo. Of course, I'm an Ambrose mark, so fuck you if you hated it.
What a nice guy this JB is.
Yep. Oh, Matt! Don't you dare be sour! It's time for the New Day to enter the ring. And so once again, the New Day, they're talking about how they were putting over the Undertaker's 25 years in the WWE. Woods mentioned he's 29, and they should have been talking about a bigger anniversary. And Matt, you would agree, right? The 1-year anniversary of the New Day.
I honestly can't agree. That the 1-year anniversary of the New Day is bigger than 25 years of the Undertaker, but the gimmick, the premise itself was hilarious. So I'm okay with it.
I was kayfabing it. They complained about how the Undertaker was on the Tonight Show, the Usos are on Sports Center, and Big E says, "When I say Us, you say ow," which was funny as shit. I loved it.
Well, and Big E says, "Dude, I love Big E."
And Big E's got those dance moves too, but Big E with the line of the night: "When life gives you booty, you make booty aid." I can't believe it's already been a year with these guys.
I've been trying to sing their praises since the beginning. No one wanted to listen to me.
Oh, I'd have been too. They take on the Usos with Ryback, and very interesting that a face in Ryback causes a DQ, but the New Day was pissing him off so much that he said, "Fuck you, ref, get out of my way, I want to punch some New Day."
Hey, I want to punch New Day.
And that was not planned, folks. That was, yeah.
We're kind of awesome. So it's
New Day gets the W. No tag team title match announced yet for Survivor Series.
I think they're going to be in a 5-on-5.
Yep.
Survivor Series match. I think that's where New Day ends up. Yep. I don't think anything's been officially announced yet, but I think that's what's going to happen.
Cesaro in the locker room getting ready for his match with Roman Reigns, and Triple H pulls up a chair and says, gives him the old brass ring talk and says, "Well, come to the authority, and lots of good things will happen for you."
Yeah.
But how about the match between Cesaro and Roman Reigns?
How about it?
That was great.
Yeah, it was really good.
I thought it was going to be some kind of hokey bullshit.
You thought it was going to suck.
Yeah,
when I told you 3 out of 4 of the matches were really freaking good, you automatically assumed that Cesaro and Reigns was going to be the one that wasn't.
Yep. I thought they were not going to make Cesaro look good. I thought there was going to be something hokey crap in the match. Yeah. Thank God I was proven wrong. They went over 20 minutes with a classic here. I loved it. And it they just tore down the house with all sorts of shit. And how about this? Did you ever think you'd see Roman Reigns in a Cesaro swing anytime soon?
Roman Reigns, he takes a Cesaro swing.
What the? That was kind of interesting to see John Cena 2.0 taking a Cesaro swing. Um, but just a great match for these guys. And in the end, Reigns hits a Superman punch, but then Cesaro counters it with an uppercut. Went for the neutralizer, but Reigns slipped out and gave a little backslide for a 2 count. Very close count there. And then Reigns hits a second Superman punch that stuns Cesaro as he walks into the spear. And Roman Reigns moves on. And the Ascension comes out, and who are they going to job to? The Dudley Boys.
Hey, the Ascension, who they jobbing to?
A whole 3 minutes that took for Victor to eat a 3D.
I was okay with it.
Renee Young interviews Zeb Coulter and Alberto Del Rio, and Coulter talks about the greatness of Mex America and Triple H. Hey, Triple H is on the campaign trail, isn't he? He tells that with the right allies, you can do just about anything, and said that he said that Del Rio can go from being a man of the people to being the man, and he walks away. Oh, Triple H.
Dude, everyone sees it coming. This is all a scam for the return of Goldberg, the man.
Oh, he's going to TNA. Didn't you see that headline?
Yeah, TNA can't afford Goldberg. I don't give a damn how. I don't care how many times TNA calls Goldberg. I don't care if Dixie Carter goes outside of his house with a boombox and holds it up in the air and plays a song. Goldberg is never stepping foot into a TNA ring because TNA cannot afford Goldberg. Mark my words.
TNA can't afford Gilbert. What are you talking about?
True story.
Oh my lord. Alberto Del Rio Kalisto. This is a match I was hoping would be better than it would be. A few botchamanias in this one, and Del Rio almost ripping off Kalisto's mask. Oops.
Botchamania.
Tie that mask on a little tighter there, Kalisto.
You fucked up. You fucked up.
Oh man, yeah, they really had to kind of.
It wasn't a good effort,
no.
honestly, by either guy. It just I was expecting a lot of good things from that match, and they just didn't get it.
I think I told you that. I go, I'm excited for this match. The week before it was, or maybe after, I think SmackDown's maybe when it was finalized. I was like, I'm excited for this match, and Kalisto never got any near falls. It was sloppy, and
yeah, I don't know what happened. I too, I figured the reason why they decided to make it a second round matchup was because they were like, this match is gonna be dope. So let's let them do it in the second round instead of the first.
yeah,
And it did not work out.
no,
Like it really didn't. I was disappointed, man.
Botches aside, they didn't look like they gelled, and you'd figure, well, there's no communication barrier between these two. They speak Spanish, so
yeah. But dude, freaking Kalisto speaks perfect English.
Yeah, well, they both do.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I mean, you can't blame you can't blame a language barrier here.
And style should mesh together.
They really. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Maybe they felt too much pressure following Cesaro and Reigns.
That could be. I was surprised. I thought Cesaro Reigns was going to close the show.
I have a theory about that.
Now, what's your theory?
I have a theory that WWE is no longer caring about the third hour brawl. If you look at the way the ratings have gone over the course of the past 2 months, hour 3 is consistently the lowest rated of the 3 hours by a very large margin. I'm almost starting to question if WWE is booking for 8 to 10, and 10 to 11 they're just throwing whatever on there
Is it because
for
of
the final hour.
Monday Night Football
Yep,
part of that thing?
I really think so, because right around the end of the second hour is when normally when Monday Night Football is at halftime. So you throw in your main segment on then, and I think the last hour during like the second half of the game, I think they're just saying fuck it. I think they're booking for 2 hours, and I think the final hour, I don't think they're really doing much anything for.
Outside of what we already talked about with the Divas, I still think the contract signing was pretty good for a finish to Raw. Do you agree?
I don't know. As I said, I didn't like it, so I
Even
can't really be. My problem is I can't be biased on it. I just can't do it.
even putting what was set aside, or can you not put it aside?
I can't put it aside.
Hmm.
And I might have been able to if Flair would have been okay with it. But for both of the parents, uh, to not be okay with it, I can't, dude. I can't put it aside.
All right. Let's go to a couple of weeks of this week in pro wrestling. We'll go back to some things that happened last week and also this week together. And first off, 1975, Terry Funk defeats Paul Jones in the tournament final for the vacant NWA United States heavyweight title in Greensboro, North Carolina. The vacancy is the key thing here because this was due to champion Jimmy Valentine suffering career-ending injuries in the plane crash that involved Ric Flair. 1997, the most talked about match in the professional history of professional wrestling took place at Survivor Series, the Montreal Screwjob, where Bret Hart, who had already signed with WCW, was double crossed in the finish of the main event with Shawn Michaels. We all know what happened, and Vince wore a nice Bret Hart loogie for that. This week in 2005, CM Punk defeats Ken Doane for the OVW television title. And what went wrong with Ken Doane? He seemed to be the blue chipper.
From my understanding, he was fucking around with Mickey James and John Cena was banging her at the time.
Oh, so the old
So
so
I'm sure something in there didn't help his matter, didn't help his cause.
the Cena shovel.
Yeah, yeah. Just ask Alex Riley.
This week in 1997, one night after the Montreal Screwjob, Raw broadcasted from Ottawa, Canada. And, uh, going back to Canada after screwing Brett may not be the best idea there, Vince, but I guess it was already booked. Chance of We Want Brett, along with bullshit, all throughout the night. And Shawn Michaels cut a promo and said that Bret Hart got sent down south with the rest of the dinosaurs. Little jab at Ted Turner there, huh? Little jab. Where the big boys play. This week in 2009, Jamie Noble announces his retirement as an active wrestler to work as a producer and agent for WWE. And they did a storyline where he took a beatdown from Sheamus on Raw to set up his retirement. And of course, as you know, he's part of J&J Security, which has not been used for quite some time. And well, I don't know. Do you see anybody using their services ever between now and Seth Rollins coming back? Because
I don't even think they'll be used when Rollins comes back.
yeah, I mean Rollins is going to be a
I mean,
face.
unless they use them for the new Authority poster boy, I don't foresee them. I don't foresee them returning to TV.
This week in 2011, WWE unveiled their logo for the new network that was coming the following February. In 2014, the WWE issued the following. Following his departure from WWE, former WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio and the WWE have reached a mutual understanding, and they wish him well in his future endeavors. Oh, that seems so long ago. Didn't even last a year, and Del Rio's back with the company. This week in 1977, Ricky Steamboat defeats Ric Flair in Richmond, Virginia to win the United States NWA United States Heavyweight title. And man, how great would it have been to hop in the time machine to see that match, Matt?
Oh man.
1978 NWA Mid-American title changed hands twice in one night as Dutch Mantel defeated the Mexican Angel, only to drop it to Randy Savage that night. And so pretty interesting there as we got a little angle with what we guy we know now as Zeb Coulter defeats a guy named Mexican Angel, and then drops it to one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. This week in 2007, TNA held the Genesis pay-per-view in Orlando, Florida. The main event was Kurt Angle and Kevin Nash versus Sting and a mystery partner. That mystery partner was Booker T. And Matt, how big of a surprise was it to see Book jump over to TNA?
At the time, it really wasn't that surprising. It'd be
What
more.
was
It would be more surprising to see anybody jump there now.
yeah. Um, why did he leave the WWE? Do you remember?
Oh man, I don't remember.
Mm. This week in 2010, William Regal clarified an announcement that was earlier in the week, talking about the tour in Great Britain that could be his last. He says, "I'm having a great tour. In wrestling, Daniel Bryan has made me realize that unless I can keep up to the standard, it's time for me to start winding down." And he said it might be the last tour, and he says he'd like to continue with quality, not quantity. And of course, as you know now, William Regal, the general manager of NXT, but he is currently out having surgery himself. Is he out for quite a while? Did he have neck surgery too?
Yeah, he had neck surgery. I'm
Yeah.
not sure how long. I know he said he's going to be in the. I know he said he's going to be at the UK tour.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
To be determined.
Something
This
like
week
that.
this week in 1996, ECW November to remember one of the most memorable moments in ECW history when Taz said he would not leave the ring until Sabu came out and faced him. Todd Gordon came to the ring. Taz choked him out. Paul Heyman came out to the ring. Taz gave him a Tazplex. Taz started choking out Heyman when the lights went out, and when they came back on, Sabu and Taz were standing in the ring face to face for the first time since Sabu's return to ECW a year earlier. As they charged each other, the lights went out again, and when they came back on, the ring was empty and the fans chanted ECW. Pretty cool moment there. And of course, for only $9.99, you can watch it on the WWE Network. You know how I like to bring up Jerry Lawler from now and again with the ridiculous amount of reigns he had as a champion. This week in 1996, Jerry Lawler defeated the Colorado Kid for the USWA Unified Heavyweight title in Memphis, Tennessee to start his 25th reign as champion. 1996, the Hall of Fame inductions were held at the Marriott in New York City. This would be the last time the ceremony was held until they revived the Hall of Fame in 2004. Inducted into the ceremony were Captain Lou Albano, Killer Kowalski, Baron Michael Cicluna, that's a hard one to say, Jimmy and Johnny Valiant, Johnny Rods, Pat Patterson, Vincent J. McMahon, and Jimmy Snuka. This week in 2008, former WWE champion Brock Lesnar captured the UFC Heavyweight Championship by defeating Randy Couture in a second round TKO in Las Vegas at UFC 91, and having a former WWE champion like Brock Lesnar winning your heavyweight title put a lot of money into Dana White's bank account. Survivor Series 2002, it was the very first time we saw the Elimination Chamber. It was debuted on for the Raw World Title as Shawn Michaels defeated Triple H, Chris Jericho, Kane, Booker T, and Rob Van Dam. And finally, this week in 1995, ECW's November to Remember, ECW World Champion Mikey Whipwreck defeated Steve Austin. Steve Austin attacked Sandman as he made his entrance and then took his place in the title match. Austin mocked Hulk Hogan during the match, doing a big boot to the face following a leg drop. But in the end, when Austin hit the stun gun, but he was showboating a little too much as Mikey rolled him up for the pin. And Matt, I believe that was that his only match, or did he have a couple?
I don't remember.
I think he might have just had the one, but I don't remember either. But again, I don't know if that's on the network or not, because I've heard some ECW shows are not. So go to November to Remember, and if you see 95, check it out so you can See Steve Austin in a rare ECW appearance in the ring. All right, let's talk about Breaking Ground from last week. No Breaking Ground this week, as it is Undertaker week on the WWE Network. So the Legends with JBL show preempted Breaking Ground. I assume that it'll be back on Monday next week. And something I missed from the show, Matt, was when Sami Zayn was talking to the new class. He said, "Don't be married to an idea." To add on to the talk of not to be afraid to try anything new. And doesn't it kind of seem like this kind of plays into Josh being a little too married to the Yeti? You kind of see you kind of agreeing with that at this point.
Maybe, but I'm not completely sold on it one way or another.
Hmm. It's not really unique, you know. I don't know. I just don't. I think I just don't think it will sell. It's my opinion on that. They picked up where they left off, questioning if Dana Brooke had plateaued in her training, and but as we all know, she has not, and she's gone on to have some great matches, including against Asuka. And they showed that she did finally land the bump from Nia Jax, and it looked a lot better. As I said, we switched to Tough Enough winner Josh, and Matt Bloom has some more news for him that he has to do some mandatory yoga. Nothing wrong with that though. Bloom says Josh has to find a place to live, get his banking set up, all within its first 2 weeks of starting. So I guess this kind of said to me, Matt, that it sounds like uh, being a WWE superstar, you got to be at the Performance Center for a long hours. So I guess they give you a little bit of leeway the first 2 weeks to get your life set up, I would assume.
I would guess so. Yeah, it makes sense.
But then after those 2 weeks are done, it's nose to the grindstone. They showed Josh's reactions watching NXT at Full Sail during the taping and talked with Apollo Crews beforehand about getting to the point where Apollo is in his career. But Josh does have quite a longer ways to go to get to where Apollo is. That's for damn sure. They show the NXT superstars at the Orlando airport heading to Texas as they take the show on the road. A lot of fans waiting for them at the airport in Texas, and kind of love seeing Apollo talk to the fans. He's definitely got that charisma, and I've always been high on him. I think he's going to be a big superstar for the WWE for years to come. They then talked to Tyler Breeze. He's been a fan, talking about how he's a fan of wrestling all of his life, and much like myself early on, he didn't have cable, and so his WWE experiences early on were with watching superstars. Bill Shatner says that he was on the chopping block more than once and had one last shot to find a gimmick that stuck. And as they showed him as Mike Dalton in the FCW days, it kind of almost kind of looked like a kind of a Tyler Black type of character. Did that kind of what it seemed like to you as Mike Dalton when they kind of showed his old footage?
A little bit, yeah.
But as Tyler Breeze, his persona, his in-ring talent, and I've said it I've said it on many different occasions that I've pegged him as a guy that could mirror the career of an HBK down the road, possibly. They go back to Josh as he struggles to define a character, and he cut a pretty bad promo. That was just a brutal promo. Do you think I mean, he's been through tough enough and stuff. Do you think he should be better at the promo by now, Matt?
Not really, because they didn't do much promo work with him when he was there.
Mm-hmm.
It's something like that's just going to take time.
Yeah. Regal tells him to slow down and practice. Practice filming himself on the phone in the mirror. Reinvent the Yeti. It sounds like the trainers, though, are not a big fan of the Yeti, especially Matt Bloom. But they said, let's go with it for now and make him as comfortable as he can as he's just getting going. They go backstage at NXT when they're in Austin, and you could see the energy from the NXT wrestlers as the place was sold out. That once they realized the place was sold out, and the fans were chanting and getting loud in the arena, and definitely it hyped up the wrestlers backstage. Then they showed a little bit of a beef between Tyler Breeze and Jason Jordan. I think that just kind of seemed odd.
Seemed like
Was that
work.
Yeah, for the kind of a total divas angle for the
Yeah.
show type
And
of
I
deal.
definitely think there's a lot of a lot of that in in this show. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, the whole thing about the Yeti. I wouldn't even be surprised if that's a total divas esque storyline.
Yeah, well, much like questioning Dana Brooke if she's got it. I mean, hello, we knew that answer. Um, the NXT referee in Austin is singing along to Tyler Breeze's theme music. That was pretty funny, I thought. And Baron Corbin talked to Baron Corbin. They says he says he enjoys the booze, and they show the guys on some downtime in Texas, and so Corbin takes on a rock show at a local club, and again, what seems like a plant, some guy getting in, trying to be buddy buddy with Corbin, and Corbin doesn't want to have any of it.
Yeah, that seemed weird.
Yeah, I think that was a plant as well. And they show Breeze and Dillinger walking around looking at bats, and and then Dillinger scaring the shit out of Tyler Breeze. I thought that was kind of funny. And then they argue about history at the Alamo between Corbin and Tyler Breeze. They show downtime for Cass and Carmella. They go shopping for some near gear at a Western shop. And Carmella, they interview Carmella, and she says how fun it is to manage Enzo and Cass, and how she idolized Miss Elizabeth growing up. And then they show all of her improvements in the ring. And Big Cass wearing a cowboy hat that was way too small. Kind of with a regular cowboy hat, Cass kind of reminds me of Lance Hoyt.
A little bit.
Not not rock and rave. That was completely fucking stupid. TNA creative bringing out Guitar Hero guitars,
Wait,
but I
TNA Creative did something stupid?
nah.
What
I
are you
digress.
talking about? You're lying. You're fucking lying.
Okay. Bill Shatner talks about the lives of the superstars not having much contact with their families, but while in Texas, Apollo gets to reconnect with his sister, who's in the army and lives in San Antonio, and they show Corbin getting to spend some time with his cousin and nephew, who live in Texas as well. Josh working on his promos again. Cuts a little better of a promo this time. Kind of went heelish. Still needs a little work, and he likes to use the word nitty gritty a lot. I think, Matt, would you agree? Might be best for business to get rid of the word nitty gritty from your promo.
Let's get down to the nitty gritty.
So they take a look at next week. They're going to take a look at the Hype Bros. And hey, look, Matt, they're teasing ZZ quitting.
Hmm. Who's shocked?
Well, you called it day one.
I did.
Hired him just to fire him.
Would not be surprised, man. I would not be surprised.
All right, let's talk a couple of weeks at NXT. Really weird, kind of little different start to the night. Ty Dillinger comes out to take on Baron Corbin, but instead of Ty Dillinger getting fed to Baron Corbin, Apollo Crews comes out and attacks Corbin, and to make up for the interference in the title match against Finn Balor. Is that set in stone yet, or just obvious, and we're just waiting for it to be announced between Apollo Crews and Corbin?
I'm pretty sure that's official.
Okay, so that'll be an interesting match.
But it gives
I find
something.
it
It gives
really,
something for both of them to do. While
yeah,
Joe and Balor throw down.
yeah. It's kind of interesting because I can see either guy winning.
I can't.
Obviously, what you think it's gonna be
That's
Crews all the
Cruz.
way?
It's Cruz all the way.
You think so?
Yes.
I don't know,
I
they've
wouldn't
been
even. I
booking.
wouldn't even be surprised if Baron Corbin gets brought up for the Rumble.
A lot of people think he's really close.
Yeah. I don't. I'm. There's not even a doubt in my mind. Cruz is beating Corbin.
Okay. Alexa Bliss threw down the challenge to Bayley to find two partners to be in a mixed 6-man tag match, and she found the Hype Bros. And good little 6-man tag match, pretty entertaining. Um, thought it was pretty funny when Bayley popped up and yelled, "You ain't hype." Just kind of funny seeing Bayley do things that she doesn't normally do. But we got the Hype Rider, which I love that finisher. It's kind of like a Legion of Doom with mixed in with Riley with Ryder's old
Riley.
yeah, where's he been? Say it to my face.
He's
With
not
Ryder's
injured,
old
isn't he?
yeah
Yeah.
yeah
Should have
with
stayed in the commentary booth, Riley.
yeah
Should have stayed in the commentary booth.
yeah, but Kevin Owens prodded him.
Well, there's the storyline to get him out of the booth.
I know.
So honestly, he should have just stayed in the damn booth. Honestly, you know, I think he hurt his long term future with the company by whining that he wanted to get back in the ring. I think he
Hmm.
should have just taken a safe, cushy job behind the announcer's desk and left it at that.
Yeah, it's easy for us to say
Yeah,
though.
I know, but I think he bit it. I think his pride and his ego bit him in the ass.
Hmm.
I think he made a mistake.
Backstage before Nia Jax is set to wrestle, she's approached by Eva Marie, and so that's
Yeah, I
interesting.
called this months ago.
Yeah, and the Ascension cut a promo accepting Jordan and Gable's challenge for a match, as Jordan and Gable wanted to prove themselves, and to prove themselves, they wanted to take on the best tag team in NXT, the Ascension. So that'll happen on actually tonight. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. But first, Nia Jax, she just destroys someone named Diona, and thank you for coming. And main event time, Matt. Vaudevillains against Dash and Dawson. This is a great old school kind of tag match, obviously, because you got an old school kind of tag team with Dash and Dawson. Were you surprised they went over and won the NXT tag titles?
No, not after I saw him at Respect.
Um,
I thought, see, I when I saw them work the match they had at Respect, I'm like, they're looking to push these guys. And they just worked with two of the main eventers of this company and held their own. They're going to get a run with the titles.
mhm.
And
And
honestly, they haven't really been doing anything with they haven't really been doing anything with the Vaudevillains since putting titles on them.
yeah,
So yeah, it did
uh,
not surprise me at all that the title change happened. I was not shocked.
no objections for them having the titles. I would say, right?
No, why not, dude?
Great.
You got to build the tag teams up. Like
I I
I
I,
got no problem with it. You got a
I keep
problem with
seeing
you
it
got a
on.
problem with it?
Nope. I keep seeing it on Twitter. A lot of people still talking Arn and Tully. I mean, it's right there. And speaking of Tully, just out the new Woo Nation podcast, Ric Flair talking to Tully Blanchard, and I'm going to listen to that for sure tomorrow. I think that's going to be a great conversation between two of the Four Horsemen. Samoa Joe ends the show addressing to the people why he did what he did.
Why, Joe? Why?
Why? It's because Balor could have made the choice right in front of Regal to grant him a title match. Instead, he let Regal take the reins, and we had this battle royal that Tyler Breeze cost him. So it's time for Evil Joe to show up. And before Joe could finish, Balor comes out, and we have a little brouhaha that the referees have to break up. And Joe then pushes a referee and puts Bale into the coquina clutch and knocks him out of the middle of the ring. Joe grabs the title, poses it, and walks away to set up our takeover match in jolly old England that's coming up here next month. And let's go to NXT from tonight.
You know what?
Kickoff.
You know what? I'm gonna bring something up before we jump to NXT.
Yeah.
TNA's official website is now pointing to a countdown clock that based off the time of the clock will expire at 10 a.m. Eastern, Thursday, November 19th.
That's
So tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Actually, so by the time you guys are listening to this is already going to be done. Um, so I'm assuming that tomorrow or today now, we're going to know where TNA's going. I think they're about to announce their new TV deal tomorrow.
Oh, you mean this isn't the Goldberg announcement?
No, it's not because I told you that Goldberg will never be in TNA, and I stand by that. But legitimately, if you go to impactwrestling.com right now, there's nothing but Impact Wrestling's logo at the top, a black page, with a countdown that says 10 hours, 26 minutes, 47 seconds. So you guys can know exactly what time we're recording this right now. But yeah, there's legitimate. There's just a countdown on the website right now that will expire at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. So,
And the website probably still has James Storm as a member of the roster too.
well, maybe they're getting a new webpage.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
the
that maybe
countdown.
that's the countdown to the new ImpactWrestling.com. But
Hey, look, we got updated rosters.
look, we might actually have something about TNA to talk about on our next show.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens.
And hopefully it'll
Just
be worth
figured I
talking
just
about.
figured that's kind of breaking news. I figured to throw that in there while we're all talking.
Oh,
So
perfect. Good timing.
gotta throw in the breaking news when I can.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Um I don't know if it's I already went through this song and dance before. They switched to Destination America. I said, "All right, let me give you a chance." And it was great for a few months and then uh, and you cannot tape television so far in advance, and I don't know.
No, dude, they're
That
still
just
airing shit that happened in July.
I know. And they're just hodgepodge in this shit and throwing it together like it is a tournament, and no, it was just matches that were one-offs and
Well, that depends.
I
All
don't
that all depends on who you ask.
yeah, I guess that's I don't know.
Because
NXT
there's some people that claim that this was their plan all along. So
are they just TNA marks or
I've heard it from people that know people.
that no
So
people?
I've heard it from people that know people.
That no people?
Shut up.
NXT for November 18th. Carmella kicks off the night, and all right, Carmella's gonna wrestle. Oh, she's wrestling Nia Jax. Good night. Carmella did get a little bit of offense in. She tried her best, but Nia Jax is a force to be reckoned with. Sidewalk with her. I don't know. That's not a sidewalk slam, but I don't. They don't have a name for the slam and the leg drop yet, but I just call it a W.
W.
Alexa Bliss is interviewed backstage saying that she deserves to be NXT Women's Champion, and a referee interrupts her. Hey, how about a referee getting a little promo time? Blake and Murphy are banned from ringside. So sorry, sweet boys. The Ascension, they come out to quite the ovation from the NXT universe as they welcome the best reigning tag team champions of all time with open arms, and they actually got over more than Jordan and Gable. I think maybe just because they're returning stars. That, I guess would be the explanation for that, Matt.
I guess.
But in the end, the right team goes over with that sweet little that sweet little suplex bridge finish for the win. That still needs a name as well.
Supplay.
Supple Gordon Soley. uh, so yeah, I just thought it was pretty cool to see the Ascension get the King's welcome, but I'm a big fan of Jordan Gable, and we need Kurt Angle to come back, and we need the world's greatest tag team to come back. But unfortunately, those are all Christmas wish list items, right?
Probably pretty accurate there, sir.
The very beautiful Emma, evil Emma, comes out to take on a girl named Mary Kate, and what we got was a lot of Full House jokes. Why would you go by Mary Kate?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But Emma with the Emma Mite sandwich and the Emma lock for the victory there. We got an interview with Baron Corbin. He challenges Cruz to a match at TakeOver. So we assume Cruz will accept because he's a little pissed off right now. Tag champs Dash and Dawson take on a couple of jobbers, Corey Hollis and John Skyler. And I actually looked up Corey Hollis because the announcers had mentioned that these guys had faced Dash and Dawson in the past. And Corey Hollis actually was in the Ring of Honor Prospects Tournament for 2014. Dash and Dawson they do such a good job of working over the opponent, don't they?
Yo, it's
Badass.
old school, man.
They whooped the shit out of Corey Hollis for I called it the longest. I called it the longest squash match in history because it did go on for quite a while. All because Dash and Dawson wanted it to go along for quite a while. Uh, Hollis hits an enziguri and pushes away Dash and Dawson. Get free, tags his partner in, and then the partner John Skyler walks into the Shatter Machine for the finish. They don't even call it the Shatter Machine anymore, which is fine by me because I thought that was a stupid name for a finisher. It's a good finisher. I just thought Shatter Machine is a ridiculous name. But the uh, the tag champs go over in easy fashion there, and we're gonna find out that the Vaudevillains will invoke their rematch clause against Dash and Dawson on TV and Dawson uh, on TV next week. It'll be Dash and Dawson against the Vaudevillains for the tag titles. Backstage, Dana Brooke challenges Asuka to a match next week, and Asuka, with her creepy little smile, accepts. And shortly after that, Emma shows up. So apparently, Emma and Dana Brooke have some sort of
They
plan up their
have a
sleeves.
plan.
I'm
We'll see.
assuming.
We'll see if it works.
My guess is they are gonna successfully beat down Asuka, which leads to Emma and Asuka, which then leads to Emma eating an armbar. That's just my guess. Main event of the night: NXT Women's Championship match between Bayley and Alexa Bliss, and I thought this was a pretty. I mean, this wasn't your epic near fall after near fall type of match, but I thought it was solid. I thought Alexa Bliss did a good job here. You agree, Matt?
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be. I thought they were gonna put together a longer match.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, for what it was and the time they were given, it wasn't bad.
Mm-mm. Not at all. Uh, Earlier in the match, Alexa had slapped Bayley in the face. Bayley, at the end of the match, returns that favor, slaps her in the face, and then gives her the Bayley to belly for the 1, 2, 3. After the match, Eva Marie comes out to the ring, and we got ourselves some Vicky Guerrero heel heat there, didn't we?
The hell was that?
But the Amazon Echo. You remember the keyword to set her off?
Oh yeah, well, you totally set it off.
Yeah, I don't know what I couldn't hear what she's saying. I got headphones on,
I,
but
I was like, what the fuck was that? I couldn't even hear you. I only heard her.
she needs to change her name. Go by her real nickname, Alexi. That might help. But yeah, Eva Marie comes out at the end of the night, and she had a hard time getting the words out with the crowd all over her ass, huh?
A little bit. I liked it though.
Did you?
Dude, the heel heat's gonna be real if she wins that title.
That's some Vicky Guerrero shit right there, though, man. Where the boos are so loud you can't talk.
I liked it. I liked it. It's hard in this day in industry in 2015 to get legitimate heel heat, and
But
fucking A, Eva Marie's got legitimate heel heat, dude.
yeah, but it's the heat. The heat is because a lot of those people think she
Heat
sucks.
is heat, bro.
Yeah,
Heat is heat, bro.
I'm all for her, hoping for her to get better in the ring. She still is yet to wow me in the ring, and I have not seen improvement yet. So that surprised me that a title match is already coming.
I think
Um,
she wins the title next week. I think I
yeah, I
think
don't
I
know.
think with assistance in Nia Jax, I think Eva Marie wins the title next week. I think Bayley wins it back in the UK. I think it'll be a short title run. But I definitely think that I think that's going to happen.
Kind of a tester.
Yep.
All right, Matt. The supersized show of Lost in the Midcard is almost
And
done.
we had a lot to
There's,
cover, so yeah, it had to be supersized.
it was
Speaking of
supersized, but
supersized, I need to get some food when we get off here, man. I'm hungry.
there you go. Supersize me. Well, we aren't way over our. I don't even know if we're at a record yet, but it's still a lengthy episode. A lot of goodies to talk about. But Matt, let's close out the show with our Survivor Series predictions, which are very weird because one, let's kick it off with the news that just broke today that there will be a traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination tag match. Let's speculate on who's in it. Um, New Day, Usos,
Yeah, you would think New Day.
Sheamus,
I doubt.
Barrett,
Yeah,
Sheamus, and
I
Barrett.
guess you could
I
do
would
the New
say,
Day, Sheamus and Barrett.
well, I would say maybe Xavier doesn't wrestle. He just yells.
No, you could you do all three.
Okay,
You do
all
New
three
Day,
with
Sheamus and Barrett against the Usos, the
Usos,
Dudleys, and
Dudleys,
Neville.
Neville. There we go. We just booked it for you, WWE. Please tell us the checks are in the mail. Please. Dolph Ziggler, Tyler Breeze. Gotta be Tyler Breeze here, don't you think?
I think Tyler Breeze needs it a hell of a lot more than Dolph. And I think
Yeah.
if Tyler doesn't get the win here, we already see the writing on his wall for his main roster career.
So while Vince is alive.
He might be buried
Um,
before he gets a chance.
this one's probably obvious, but Brothers of Destruction against the Wyatts.
There's no way Kane and Undertaker losing this match.
Nope. This is a celebration.
It's a celebration, bitches.
Betches. Charlotte and Paige.
Charlotte.
Uh, yeah.
Absolutely
It's
no way after what you did on Monday that you let Paige beat her.
oh no.
Paige, honestly, Charlotte needs to beat her ass.
I
Like
think
seriously, Charlotte needs to make Paige her bitch. Like for real.
Buster wide
Not,
open.
not, obviously, they're not going to let her do that, but she needs to get her ass beat on Sunday. Like Charlotte needs to beat her ass.
Here's my
It
get.
needs to be like 90-10 in terms of
Here's
like percentage of offense and
let
defense
me
on each one. I think Charlotte needs to be on offense like 90% of the match.
let me give you this. Charlotte is so pissed off at Paige, she causes a disqualification, which sets up a T, an L, or a C match at the TLC pay per view.
I don't know. I,
Charlotte's emotions get the best of her and causes the DQ.
I don't want to see that. I want to see her. I want to see her beat her. Time to
Just whoop that ass.
yeah.
All right, let's talk tournament. We've almost basically said what's going to happen, anyways, but let's go ahead and run it down. Roman Reigns, Alberto Del Rio, pretty obvious here,
Duh.
and probably the same with Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose.
They look.
Little more room for a little more
They
room,
could swerve Owens in,
a little more room
but
for a swerve.
I'm still putting in I'm still putting the money on in Dean.
Is There's only one person held both the IC and the heavyweight title, Ultimate Warrior.
Ultimate
Single.
Warrior and Michael Cole said this week that Triple H did it,
Oh, did
and
he? Okay.
I don't remember it. But Michael Cole said this. He had the sit down interview with Kevin Owens this week, and he mentioned that Triple H did it. I don't recall him doing it, but I definitely obviously I recall the Ultimate Warrior. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we are probably still sticking with our guns, saying that Reigns joins the Authority. Or is there no swerve and Reigns wins?
oh no, there's a swerve. Um,
Ambrose, I can see Ambrose being healed too.
yeah, as I was gonna say, I don't think it's a done. I don't think it's a done deal.
As many times as you put me down for saying Ambrose is turning heel on Reigns,
Well, this might be the time it finally happens. You might finally get your 6 month wish.
except I'm saying now I think it's gonna be Reigns is the one that
And now you,
turns heel
yeah,
now.
the second you go off of it, it's happening the other way.
Yeah, yeah, that's how it's gonna happen, man. That's the way it works, I think. So, but I'm excited for Sunday night. Are you?
I can't say that I'm excited. I'm intrigued. I think it'll be a good show. I can't go as far as to say that I'm excited. Maybe I'll feel differently once the show's over. Maybe I'll be excited when it's done. But right now, I'm definitely not excited for the Survivor Series.
Well, that's me always having that false hope that WWE has it right in front of them to give us a shocker. And are they going to play it safe? Are they going to shock the world? Honestly, I think Reigns as a heel is going to shock the world because He's John Cena 2.0. You know, Reigns joining the Authority though is gonna be good for business. I think it's gonna open up a whole new world for Reigns, and it gives that avenue to be accepted once he turns face again, more than if he stayed face the entire all the way through.
I agree that, in my opinion, Reigns is the better choice to turn heel, but I can't get Triple H's words out of my head from
Yeah,
his
from
sit down with Michael Cole last week.
yeah,
Um, that that the deal was still on the table, and that there was going to be someone that was crazy enough to take him up on his offer. And to me, that screamed Ambrose to me. So I'm not while Roman makes the most sense, something in my wrestling spider sense is telling me that it's going to be Dean.
yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what
And if it
happens.
and if it's Dean and he is a heel and he joins the Authority, I will mark the fuck out, guaranteed. I will. I'm happy either way. I'm even happy if Owens is the man. So
He is the far out wild card.
yeah, I'm almost gonna be happy if the only thing that won't make me happy is they status quo it and there's no swerve, and then maybe Sheamus cashes in or something. But do you? What do you give me a percentage chance of Sheamus cashing in?
33%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of agree with you with on that. I think this is the perfect time to open up that door and give us something fresh, give us something new. But obviously, we've been disappointed and let down many times, haven't we, Matt?
You know it, bro.
Woo, woo, woo. That's going to do it for this super-sized edition of Lost in the Midcard. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, thank you to SpiderDuck.net for enabling us to be on iTunes and any of your favorite podcasting apps. Please search for Lost in the Midcard. Subscribe to us. Let us know what you think about the show. Give us some ratings. Give us some feedback. We always love to hear from you. Also, we are on YouTube. You can subscribe to us on there too. So, anytime that we have a new show coming your way, which is typically every Thursday night or every Thursday morning, I'm sorry, and every Monday after the pay per view. And all of the above can be found by going to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Lost in the Midcard. And before we wrap this up, Matt, it's time for our go home for Survivor Series. Give us your final thoughts as we head into the pay per view.
I just want to be excited about Raw when Survivor Series goes off the air. And I really don't think that's too much to ask for. So we'll wait and see what they do.
Where is Raw on Monday?
Really, you
Good.
can ask me this right now.
Uh, let's see here. Nashville, Tennessee. What kind of crowd is Nashville?
Oh yeah, now I should. James Storm teased that last week. So yeah, that doesn't. So that I should have remembered that. I think Storm will be at the NXT tapings tomorrow night, though.
I hope so. I miss them already. So yeah, I don't know, man. Like I just said right before we wrapped it up, I've had my hopes up many times for a shocker, and many times in the past year I've been let down. This is the biggest, easiest slate for you to write that little shocker in there, and you got three out of four possibilities. I'm not going to be excited if Alberto Del Rio is the guy. He
He's
won't.
not gonna be that guy. Shut up. They're not letting Alberto Del Rio beat Roman Reigns. Are
I
you
know.
on
That's why
drugs?
I said three of the four guys would get me excited of joining the Authority, and Alberto Del Rio is not one of them. That's my point.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
not saying it. I did not say it was going to happen. I'm saying my point is, if that happened, I'd be like, uh, wow, you're really throwing the gifts at Alberto Del Rio. Sorry, we fired you. Here you go. But no. Like I said, the dark horse of Kevin Owens is a great intriguing thing. We know Ambrose could make a great heel, and I think that that making Reigns heel is only going to add more depth to his character and in the long run be better for Reigns. So for Matt, this is Jeremy. I hope you enjoy Survivor Series. Hopefully we enjoy Survivor Series too. We will be back at you on Monday. Keep lookout on Facebook.com/Lost in the Midcard or at Raw F Showtime and at JB Huskers for an update on when the Survivor Series post show is going to happen. Like I said, I got some family business out of town on Sunday, so we will get it at you either Monday morning or Monday night, possibly right after Raw. So keep an eye out on the Facebook page for that. Once again, thank you for tuning into Lost in the Midcard, and we will catch you very soon.